And what I've decided to do is, right here next to the road, I'm going to build a little palapa building, not big, about 3 meters by 5 meters, and it'll be ultimately a little storage building, but for now it'll be a little kitchen the guys can cook their breakfast under or get under if it rains. It'll be nice, shaded, and then right next to it, back there where Moise's sitting, will be another little palapa, and that's going to be a bee house for my melipona bees. So the guys are out in the jungle today cutting trees, little small trees like you see here, and bringing them back in big bundles to build the frame and the roof of the palapa. And here they go, and lugging them all back here. They are thoughtful enough that they went away from the house to some areas that are still in rough jungle to cut them, rather than cutting down trees all around my house. Here they are removing the bark from the trees that they've just cut down, because that's going to be what rots away the fastest. And they'll remove the bark from all of these, just like you see on this big one. We're going to build a smaller one that will be 3 meters by 4 meters, and that will be for a house for the melipona bees. I'm going to put in 10 houses, hives for melipona bees, which are unique to Yucatan. As I think I've explained somewhere else, they don't have a stinger, and they also don't make as much honey as the Africanized bees do, but the honey sells for 10 times as much. I'm not using the correct word for it, but the word in Mayan is like junk. And these are junk trees, as Salvador says. They're not good for anything except buildings, because they have little espinas, which is little spikes on the side of it. So that's what they do, is they take their little machete and scrape along the side of it to clear it of the spikes, so you don't bump into it and stick yourself. Also, they have started the holes for this one. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4 holes, and then the same thing, 4 holes here. And the palapa begins to rise up from the ground like the phoenix. All the roof joists are in place and rafters, and today we begin to put the palm leaves on for the roof. Well, I learned something new today. I don't know why I thought this, nobody told me, but I always assumed that the palm leaves went like this, horizontal, on the roof of the house. But they don't. They go perpendicular like this, which is why it takes so many of them. They take about 3 or 4 of these here at the bottom and gather them, and they put the rest of them over the cross supports. And that's the reason it takes so many of them, is because they put them right next to each other. Let me show you what it looks like from the inside. You can see how close they are, just about 2 inches apart. And so what they do is, it has such a mass of leaves in there that if the water hits through one, it hits the next one, goes down, hits the next one, goes down. It has to go through about 8 or 9 leaves. It's almost like having a house with 20 layers of shingles on it. If it gets through one, it's going to get stopped by the next one. If it gets past that, it's going to get stopped by the next one. And that's why this little palapa is going to take 2,000 palm leaves to finish. So there you go. Now we both know. I've already said that this little palapa here will take about 2,000 palm leaves, and I had 400 myself here on trees, so I'm having to buy 1,600 more from a friend who has a bunch of palms. They are, let's see, 7 pesos a piece. So unfortunately my pickup will only hold about 250 in the back of it, and that's really full all the way up to the top of the truck. So every day we're having to go get 250 more, and these were just cut yesterday, so they have to dry out for a couple of days, which is why they're all, when they unloaded them this morning, they're all laid out here on the ground so the sun will kind of cook them today, tomorrow, and then Thursday they'll be ready to put up on the roof. Good progress, very good progress. We're almost finished with the roof on one side of the palapa, and then you'll start the other side. Looks like it takes 3 days per side. So I had the machine up here working on another project, so I had him go ahead and knock out the holes for the second palapa. That will be the bee house for my melipona bees. Oh my gosh. I mean, it's not unusual to run into rocks when you start digging a hole, but you don't always run into just solid rock, and unfortunately that's what every one of these holes were. They were sitting on solid rock, so we got them busted out. Now next week we can set the post and start building the second palapa. The first palapa roof is finished now on the sides and also at the ends on the gables. Now then they are doing the top at the ridge. Normally today the Mayans doing this would put a piece of metal folded in a V at the top of the ridge to shed the water off. But the traditional way, the original way, is they take 2 long trees and put up there. Let me see if I can get a picture of it here. And they notch the ends. Here's one, there's the other one. They'll put these up there and secure them together. That's why they have notches. And then they put smaller leaves together on them to keep the ridge of the roof from leaking water. It takes a lot more time to do it that way, and that's why they just take a shortcut now if they're doing it for themselves and put a piece of metal up there. Sometimes they'll put a piece of asphalt material up there, but I wanted it to be as authentic and original as possible. They're sliding these posts into place to support the smaller palms on top. I forgot all about making a conclusion to the video about the new palapas, but they're finished. In fact, we were doing 2, and we finished the first one, which is just a bodega storage one, and then the second smaller one, which will be for melipona bees. And at the moment we're using it for some storage of some building materials also. And then we've also completed a third one, much smaller but functional, to go over the water well and the pressure tank. And so there it is, 3 palapas. Then I'm going to build another one right here. It will be a garage to park my car under, get it out of the sun. But that'll be a project for another day.